Welcome back, guys. Episode 13 of the Pipis Brothers podcast.
Lucky number 13.
Extremely lucky. That's why we've changed scenery. So
Exactly.
it's actually, we're in the middle of a heat wave here in the UK. Yep, it does happen. Why am I saying it? Because most of the people are watching from England. I love how we keep thinking we have an audience outside of the people that know us.
We're worldwide.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're
perhaps
for the people watching in
South America,
specifically
Argentina.
Bolivia.
Okay.
I was thinking of Bolivia. We're
Yeah.
in the middle of a heat wave, so I can't be in my usual position because I'm melting. But anyway, I think this is going to be an interesting podcast.
It's
Evan
going to
has
be a
few
fun
questions lined up for moi.
Yes, it's going to be a fun one, Mike. It's going to be light-hearted. It's
Yeah.
going to be just full of good stuff. And
Mate,
I think
I'm curious what questions you came up with.
I think people are going to be interesting to hear this one because here's the first question, and it's not really a question. It's just going to be in conversation.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what was it like. We're not going to do that again. No, fool me once, shame on you. Shame on me. I don't know. Anyway, what was it like losing the weight? Like you've been dieting 14, 15, 16 months. I can't remember how many months.
14.
14 months. Yeah. And then you've reached your goal weight. So tell me about. It's going to be like one of those videos where people are watching and like, yeah, man, I want to get there. What was it like reaching your goal weight?
It's a bit of an anti-climax story because I didn't really set myself a goal weight per se. I was doing so I never said, I'm going to reach 95 kilos. I'm actually 92.8 now. It's the lowest I've ever been in a very long time.
92.8.
It's not nice. It's because I've lost a lot of muscle mass from from not exercising, and I've stopped taking creatine. But anyway, it's the scale weight, isn't it? You guys didn't have to know that. It is the lowest I've been.
Numbers are numbers, you know, if you don't give an explanation.
Exactly. It is extremely lean. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a goal weight. The way it happened is obviously I started off at 159 and I started losing. And I think around 100 kilos, I want to say 98, I got a personal trainer.
Okay.
And I was doing a lot of weight training at the time. Time went by. I think I started around, let me get the dates for you guys. May 2019, I started personal training.
Right.
And it was going really well. And then September 2019, we started focusing on powerlifting. So actually competitive powerlifting. And the whole mind frame changed. There was a shift in the mindset. There we go, that's what I wanted to say. And basically, as you know, in powerlifting, like with weightlifting, etc., you're in categories, weight categories. I was 95-ish at the time, so we were trying to maintain around that number because the category I was meant to go in is the under 93 kilos or 93 and below.
Does it have a name?
No,
Does the category, you know, like they say heavyweights and welterweights and all that, like boxing.
Ultra bantamweight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's all the bands.
It's all the bands. So yeah, I was at 93 kilos, and that was the focus really, because it was a smooth transition. It wasn't like, I'm going to diet and then I'll stop dieting or transition into normal eating when I hit 95 kilos. It wasn't that. It's actually worked out really well for me because I had a next target I wanted to achieve, and that target was to get stronger and start building up my powerlifting numbers, so lifting more weight. So it came.
Let me stop you because I've got questions and you never give me a gap big enough to actually. So
go on.
I'm gonna have to stop you. Did it feel like you've stopped dieting? Did you feel like you've reached something? Do you feel like you've stopped, or has it? So it hasn't felt any different, even after you've reached below 100 kilos and you changed your focus. It felt the same as when you were.
It felt the same. The big difference, I think, was when I when I got the personal trainer. So in May 2019, there was a bit of a change because I started being more focused on my macronutrients. So I started targeting my protein input, and maintaining my calorie goal. So obviously the calories went up slightly, but because the exercise went up, I didn't really see that much of a shift in scale weight loss, let's say.
Yeah.
And then obviously September, when it was purely focused on powerlifting, that's when I did not notice any scale weight at all, but my body started changing because I was putting on muscle and losing fat at the same time, because I was still just under my BMR, but my protein input was really, really high. So it was what you call a body recomposition that was taking place around September onwards, up until lockdown. And then, again, body recomposition kicked in, but the other way. I started losing muscle and putting on fat.
That's one way to do body recomposition.
It's the easiest, so why not?
Exactly. What I want to ask is, at what point during your weight loss did it feel like your body started changing? Like, what were the things that kind of start giving you indications that things are changing? And please, for the love of God, don't bore us with your macronutrients and your protein intakes.
Oh, that's the fun bit, man.
And your shit outtakes or whatever.
Whoa! That's fine. Okay, so my body.
Give us something good.
That actually made me jump, for goodness sake. My body actually made me. I started to realise my body was changing after I dropped 130
when I was 12 years old.
It's a big body change around 12 years old. I don't know why. I got a bit taller. We'll just stop there. But yeah, it was around under 130 kilos, so I would have lost 20 kilos by then. That's when I started noticing an active change, a gradual change as well, because I know 20 kilos is a lot, but I didn't really notice that much of a difference. But everything underneath 130 kilos and below that, I started noticing a big difference.
So over how many kilos, what am I trying to ask? Every how many kilos do you think you were noticing that your body was changing? Roughly, because obviously it will be different for person to person.
I would probably say a big difference was every 15 kilos I lost.
So once you dropped, so you were 159, you dropped to below 130, and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to feel different. And then every 15 kilos after that, you were noticing that it was a big change or like a minor change?
No, a big change. So from 130 to 115 was a big change. In the teens, I didn't stay in the teens for that long, the 100 and something, 110 to 120. I really cannot remember what I looked like then. I think that was probably one of the quickest 10 kilos I lost, because I really cannot remember it. And then, under 100, obviously. So from 100 kilos to 93, 95 I am now, the change was more gradual, because obviously I started building muscle at the end of that spectrum. So it's difficult. I'm not probably the most stereotypical person to ask how you stopped dieting or how you felt, because it was like a continuous thing. And I think partly that's part of my success, that I've managed to keep off the weight, is because I was focused on the next step all the time. Now, even during lockdown, my goal was not to go above 95 kilos, whatever happened. So that's my focus, and I think that's probably the focus I'm going to continue on for a very, very long time, is try and succeed in staying below 95 kilos.
Right, I get you.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of something that I experienced one of the times, I think the only time, that I lost a significant amount of weight. I can't exactly remember what I went down to, but it was a lot less than I am now. And unfortunately I didn't stay at that weight for very long. But I'll tell you what I noticed. I remember sitting in the car, the Ford Focus that I had.
Oh yeah.
The classic car. I might try and find a picture to show you guys how cool it was. Bear in mind I was like 19, 20. So
yes, that saves it. Yeah,
that saves it. Yeah. Everybody goes through that phase. You'll see. It's totally normal.
You saved it, mate. Yeah.
So what I noticed, I was sitting in the car, and the seat, I was actually sitting on the normal part of the seat. So the seats had slightly raised bucketed. It was nowhere near a bucket seat. It was a regular Ford Focus seat, but it had like raised sides and raised sides on the bottom part of the seat as well. And before, what was happening is I was actually sitting, like my body was overhanging those parts, so there would have been pressure. It's funny now.
There was nothing in the middle. You were just.
I was levitating
on the top. Yeah.
That middle cushion never wore. Yeah. That middle cushion was as good as new. It never got touched by anything. No, but I was like overhanging the seats, right? Both on the bottom and the top, and that would tire you out. Like it would tire your thighs and it would tire your back, like your sides here, and you wouldn't notice it. And I remember one day sitting and feeling so comfortable, and like the car was like, the seat was almost hugging me. And it was such a difference.
Oh, really? What, like a day-to-day thing?
Just
it was from one day to another. You realised.
I just noticed it. Yeah, just I mean, obviously, yeah.
I think that's the reason why
realization.
Sorry, I think that's the reason why I said it's an anticlimax, because it's not like a sudden thing. People want the sudden change, but you don't really realise the.
No, but okay, I get what you're saying. You don't wake up one day and you're like, I'm thin now, or
no, yeah. I don't think you wake up one day and you realise, oh, this is such a big difference from yesterday. I think because it's such small increments all the time.
Yes.
It takes like a specific moment for you in front of a mirror or.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. There's going to be a trigger. There's going to be a moment where you've done something perhaps like 1,000 times, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Automatically, and then this time you realize you're doing it differently. Like I'll give you an example. Putting on my belt, the motion of like doing up the belt is automatic, and it's always been like the last what do you call it? The last hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as you lose weight, and you do that, and the belt is still loose, or you accidentally go a bit further, and you're like, I've got a lot more
next
belt
level.
here.
Yeah, unlocked the level.
You might not notice it the first time, the second time, or whatever, but eventually you're like, I've got so much loose belt here, like excess belt. And it was the same with the seat. That one day, for whatever reason, I was like, oh my god, I'm sitting on the seat properly. Didn't you have moments like that when you were realizing
the biggest change, the biggest shock that I've had, and I had it recently as well, not even that long ago, maybe a month ago, is pictures from angles you're not used to seeing from yourself.
Oh my god! I don't want to know about those pictures, Mike.
Those pictures, the ones you're thinking of, you dirty rats, those ones. No,
those are behind the paywall. We do have a premium channel. If you go on our Patreon, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans / Pipis Bros. You don't even have to slash. Just go on OnlyFans and ask where are the Pipis Bros.
You ask them, they know where we are. Yeah,
it's the same receptionist with Instagram, so it'll be fine. No, but some weird angles, like maybe if I have my back turned and someone like took a picture with my back turned or my side profile. That's when you're like, oh Jesus Christ, I look like that, because you're so used to seeing yourself in a reflection, and your reflection is obviously face on, unless you're some sort of what's weird, alien,
a vampire.
Yes, exactly, vampire. Nope, because they can't see themselves, so that was horrendous. Anyway,
exactly.
unless you're you see yourself in a reflection, and it's always the same angle, and you can still notice the difference when you lose weight. But the biggest one is when someone takes a picture of you and you just see yourself from a different angle. You're like, wow, okay, I've lost a lot of weight, and I had it recently, and it's been 2 years now since I've lost weight. It was
I see what you're saying. So you saw a picture of yourself recently, like a recent picture of yourself.
Yes, yeah. But even when you're losing weight, you see pictures, and you're like, well, okay, I'm a lot slimmer than I was before. But the big surprise, like I said, is I've been this weight for over a year now, or just about a year. And I seen a picture maybe 2 months ago, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm thin."
Right.
So it's such a weird thing, isn't it? I don't think people can.
How has your mentality changed? Like, do you see yourself as thin? Do you see yourself as different to what you were before, or do you have to like consciously think about the fact that you're different?
Again, the gym transition has flipped my mindset because I've always wanted to have more of a muscular physique.
Okay.
And getting that muscular physique, I started after a few months. Obviously, I started seeing that in the reflection in the mirrors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm onto something here. It's changing because I always felt I was never able or capable to build
To
muscle.
put on muscle, right?
Not for no reason, just because it just seemed impossible because we were fat, etc.
Hey, I didn't go to the gym. I ate like 8,000 calories a day, and I was like,
why am I not shredded?
Why?
I don't.
Yeah.
I do not understand.
Why am I not getting stronger? If anything, I feel weaker all the time.
All of a sudden, I'm sweating out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, you do start seeing a difference.
But no, okay. So you see the difference, but has your mentality changed? Because
Mentality in terms of what characteristics or how
no,
you
like
act.
how you see yourself. Let's start with that. How do you see yourself? Do you see
No,
do you still see yourself as somebody overweight, or do you see yourself as like a regular person? Does it not like even cross your mind anymore?
It doesn't cross my mind anymore. But even when I was morbidly obese, I still didn't consider myself to be morbidly obese.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are like that because if you realise you're morbidly obese, you would most likely proactively change it.
Okay.
But I don't know. I might be speaking out of turn here, but even when I was really fat, I never considered myself to be really fat. I always use the
go on. No, you go.
I always use the example. I remember a few times when I was laying in bed, I never felt like I was fat, which is weird, obviously, because your body weight isn't really that prominent, let's say.
Yeah.
And even I think I said this before in some other episodes, even when you look yourself in the mirror when you are that weight, you sort of convince yourself that you're not actually that big. Because it's hard to compare it before and after, which is again, it's what I was saying at the beginning of the episode. It's a bit of an anticlimax because the same way you struggle to see a difference when you're gaining the weight, and there's some sort of denial as well when you're gaining the weight, so it's a bit more prominent, let's say. It's the same thing when you're losing it because it's so gradual. You don't really.
You don't know. I tell you what.
You don't notice it. You don't really notice it.
For somebody like me that I put on the weight quite early on in my life, I kind of got used to like this is how my body feels, right?
Yeah, this is who I am.
You don't. It's not like it happened overnight and you wake up and you're like, oh my god, why do I feel so heavy? You know, why can I not move?
When some girls feel bloated, for example, yeah.
It's I never got that, so it was like it's normal for me. Both of us were still quite athletic. We played, with basketball, football, a bunch of different sports. So we didn't feel like we were
athletic in the terms we were going out. Yeah, we weren't bedridden. One of those like 500-pound me people. Yeah, we would go out and we would play football with friends. Our weight never stopped us from doing any exercise. Put it that way.
Yes.
We would still
that's very good way of putting it. It never stopped us from doing any exercise. But like I said, because it's not a sudden thing, you don't notice it. It's once you start losing the weight and you start having those moments where you do a repetitive task that you've been doing for the last 5 years, 10 years, however long you've had that weight for, and you do the task differently, you're like, whoa, like this is, you find it so much easier, or you're doing more or whatever. I was washing the car like a couple of weeks ago, and I realized I just went into a squat and I just stayed in a squat, like washing the low parts of the car.
Yeah,
it was no one's business. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even realize I was doing it until I got up with such ease. I was like, whoa, like I'm noticing it. I've noticed the difference. And it's small things like that can happen at any moment as you're dieting.
That's it. You
remember those moments. Maybe write them down, so that you have kind of like real proof for yourself that what you're doing is working.
Yeah.
So it's not just numbers. The numbers actually mean something in real life. You can do those tasks so much easier. Like we've mentioned it before, because for me it's such a funny line. I can't forget it. The Kevin James line where he says, "In order to tie his shoelaces, he has to lean back, take a deep breath, and then come forward and try to do them quickly. But that happened. Like, there would be moments where I would do my laces and I was like bent forward and everything is like crushing me. And I'm like, I can't do it. I'm running out of steam here. I'm running out of breath. I'm running out of air. I need to go get back up and take a deep breath. And it's not until you do it normally that you realize.
I guess for me, because it's such little things, it's so long ago that you forget to do it. So I think it's probably better for you to say how you felt and how you experienced those small changes, because they're so small. You tend to disregard them as well.
I don't know. For me, like when they happen, they kind of like they stay with me. They stick out because I've had to wait for so long that when something happens, so much.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah.
You're like, plus, like when you reached below 100 or even below 110, I would say, because you probably never reach below 110. It's completely uncharted territory. You've never done that before. Like, you don't know what your body is gonna feel like when you get to that place. And as you're putting on the muscle, that must be like another insane thing. Like doing your first squat versus doing the last squat you've ever did. Surely that's gonna be like, it feels like night and day. And I'm using squat as just like any exercise, right? It doesn't matter what it is. You can be a runner, running for the first time on your weight loss. Like I want to do some running. I haven't got into it because I'm too heavy at the moment. That's what I feel like. But the first time that I'm gonna run versus the nth time when I'm like at 100 kilos or below, I imagine it's gonna feel totally different.
No, I'm going to I'm going to disagree with you there, just because there's so much in between there that people have short memories, and I'm one of them. And I cannot remember the first time I did a squat. I can't remember the first time I did a deadlift. Obviously, I know I wasn't lifting. My last deadlift was 205 kilos. Obviously, my first one was going to be just the bar, 20 kilos. But there's so much in between. So many things happen. Not just dieting and when you're in the gym, in people's lives, etc. For me personally, there's so much clutter that you can't really pinpoint those milestones, and that's what I don't want to come across on camera and say, oh yeah guys, this is going to happen then and you'll feel so good because of that. Like I see some of the fitness, what are they called again? Influencers.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's so good when you do that. Oh, well, it is good, but you don't really remember it because it's such a long process that you just have to stick with it and have those like little nuggets of feeling good, like you just said, squatting and not getting out of breath, or when someone takes a picture of you, like I said, from a different angle and you're like, oh wow, that's, I don't recognize myself. It's those little things, and that's what I want to, that's from my learnings anyway, that there isn't that one moment where you're like, oh yeah, I made it.
No, but that's exactly what I'm asking. I never said, was there like one single moment where you magically became thin, but were there moments, multiple moments, that gave you those realizations? And that's, to me, that's the difference, is those moments when you feel like, hey, what I'm doing is paying off, and this is how I'm noticing it. And it's worth, if you're perhaps like Mike, where you can't remember anything like that, write them down. So when you're feeling crap and you feel like you want to quit or whatever, just remind yourself the reasons why you're doing it, and the fact that you've actually seen results from it. The fact that you've been dieting for however many months now, and oh hey, I've noticed that this is happening a lot easier than it used to happen before. So it is worth it. I need to just keep going with it.
My other problem is, and I think this is where I'm slightly different to the general population, is I'm not happy with what I've done. I always want the next thing. So even when I was 100 kilos or dropped below it, I was like, okay, cool. I've never dropped below 100 kilos, and I was like, all right, okay. Next thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I never took a step back and said, oh, well done, Mike. You're in double figures. I did do it when I stepped on, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, double figures. But that was it. Because I've always, I think that's how I managed to keep my focus throughout those 2 years, is because I've always wanted the next thing. I was in the 140s, I wanted to be in the 130s. I was in the 100s, I wanted to be in the 90s. When I was in the 90s, I wanted that next big lift. I wanted the next thing. And I think that's really important. probably my biggest advice is to, like I said in the beginning, find a goal and make sure you're chasing it, and then set the other one. Don't stop and treat yourself because you've done something. Always continue to set yourself the next goal. I'm not saying don't ever say pat yourself on the back. That's out of context. But it's important to maintain longevity, to always think ahead and have a goal set right after you've achieved your.
I think that should be our like closing discussion topic. The fact that potentially, because obviously you're just hearing like one person's perspective on this.
Exactly.
And perhaps when I get to that level, I might be able to reinforce the same opinion or give you a different one. But I completely see what Mike is saying here, that if you reach your goal weight and then you're like, I'm done, I guess there's the risk that you're gonna go back to your old habits. There's the risk that you're gonna start putting on the weight and you're gonna overeat, and you won't have any other target to chase. So potentially you'll get complacent. And when I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but statistically speaking, there's a lot of people that lose the weight and then put it on quite quickly after that. So maybe that's one of the keys that you need to do if you're following the journey with us, and if you're like also trying
stay
to lose weight.
I think that's the key. Just stay focused on your next goal, and if you achieve it, don't be complacent. Find the next thing you're going to chase.
Yeah, find exactly. Yeah. Find the next thing that you're gonna work towards, and the next target that you want to hit. But still, that doesn't mean you can't like take a moment and congratulate yourself.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's pointless.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Like, enjoy the benefits that this achievement has brought you. Like, for example, I bet you can just go into any clothes shop and buy clothes, which is something that I can't do.
Yeah.
So it's finding all those things that it's offering that you can enjoy, and then work towards the next thing.
Spot on.
And I think
that's good place to end it.
We'll close here. We want to thank you for joining us and watching this video. Feel free to send us a message, any questions you have, anything you want to see us talk about. We will eventually do recipes. They're coming. Okay,
there's not enough subscribers. When we hit 200, that's the only time we're going to do it.
Okay. We're holding people ransom here, right? Okay.
We've been stuck on 105 subscribers. What's the point, man?
Listen here, you. Tell your friends. Otherwise, you're getting no recipes. If more people don't subscribe to this channel,
we're gonna do it.
We're gonna come around your houses and we're gonna steal your food. Even.
I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm not gonna share my recipes. Okay, unless we hit 200 subscribers.
You're never gonna. Wait, hold on. 200.
I said unless.
Right?
I said 200.
Unless. Okay. 200 subscribers. We're releasing the recipes. If you want to create fake accounts,
do it.
Don't do it. Okay, do it. Do it.
Yeah, do it, man.
Fake. All right, but go tell your friends. Share it with other people. Share with people that might be interested in this. Share with people that will definitely not be interested in this, because we just told you that we don't care whether the subscribers are real or fake.
You want recipes. Find a way of us reaching 200 subscribers and you get them. It's as simple as that. And on that bombshell, we'll catch you on the next one.
See you later.
Bye.